6 wives equals how many children? Henry VIII desperately wanted the Tudor line to continue through a male heir, so he plowed through 6 wives to try and get there. 4, if you consider that his last 2 wives became his sister and carer. But how many heirs did he succeed in making? With 6 wives, probably a lot, right? It was 3. Just 3. But these 3 would go on to become some of the most important children in history. During his first marriage to Catherine of Aragon, Henry had a daughter named Mary. She was raised Catholic in her mother's footsteps, and she should have been heir to the throne. That was before her dad decided to claim that she was illegitimate due to the fact that her mom was actually his sister-in-law, and that his brother was married to her before, and it was all a bit messy. But she had all the makings of a princess, and she was fiercely loyal to her mother. This Mary is the one that you might have heard of, Bloody Mary. This would be the Mary that became known quite unfairly as Bloody Mary, as even though she did kill during her reign, it was nowhere near the amount that her relatives did. After the divorce to Catherine, Henry hastily married a pregnant Anne Boleyn who had promised him a male heir. To his horror, he had another girl. Elizabeth was raised a devout Protestant by her mother, and as a legitimate heir to the throne, she was given her own household as a baby. Like cooks, servants, everything. Mary was actually stationed at Elizabeth's household and told to serve her, all whilst being treated as a bastard in the eyes of the kingdom. As if sibling rivalry isn't already bad enough. A few years later, her mother was busted on claims of adultery with her own brother and witchcraft. All of these lies fabricated to try and get her out of the way. Henry now had his sights on Jane Seymour, so Elizabeth now became illegitimate too. 3 times a charm though, as Jane Seymour gives birth to Edward, the first male heir to the throne. Henry was overjoyed and celebrated on a grand scale, but this didn't last long. Jane died of birth complications 12 days later, and Edward was a sickly child for the rest of his life. By the time Henry died, he was at least satisfied that his son Edward would carry on the Tudor line, but guess what? Calm as a bitch. Edward died at just 15 from tuberculosis, and he tried to leave the throne to his cousin, Lady Jane Grey. Mary wasn't having any of it, and she decided to imprison Lady Jane Grey in the Tower of London, having her beheaded, and then declaring herself the true Queen of England. She was the first female monarch, but she only lasted 5 years. After killing a lot of Protestants and trying to bring Catholicism back to England, she died of what scientists now believe must have been cancer at the age of 42. That left Elizabeth, the final heir of the 3, to take her place as queen. She became one of the longest reigning, most notable monarchs in all of English history, bringing peace to the kingdom and seeing many successes. And as a final screw you dad to the man that murdered her mother, she vowed never to marry, never to have children, and that the Tudor line would die with her. And that's exactly what the Virgin Queen did. Tudors are weird.